Good morning, sweet class of mine. It is Monday, October 29th. You are watching this video. Miss Patterson is talking to you and walking you through this PowerPoint that we would have gone over if I was not here today. Just a few things before we get started. You are a reflection of Miss Patterson today, so please be respectful of our sub and stay on track. If I do get a bad report from the sub, I will handle that accordingly when I come back. But I know how amazing each and every single one of y'all are, and I expect nothing but the best. So talking about a few things that I need you to have open is this video that you're listening to and watching right now. Another thing you'll need to have open is the Week 11 Google Slides. Now, you may be asking yourself, where do I get that, Miss Patterson? Well, in the Google Classroom, you're going to go to your respective block. I'm going to choose first block for now because first block is first. In here, you're going to see the Week 11 Google Slides, Mapping Your Future Monday, and 3 additional uses of extreme language in Vampires Prey on Panama. So what you're going to do is you're going to open this link, and that is what I want you to have open in addition to watching my video. Now, there's going to be times in this video where I am going to tell you to pause, and you are going to have to click these videos. Miss Patterson tried to play them while I was screen recording, but they don't record the sound appropriately. So I'm going to say something like this. You are going to pause me now. At that point, you're going to pause the video and you're going to click on the video in this Week 11 slide and watch it. Once you're done watching the video, you're going to go back to the video that you're watching of Miss Patterson and you're going to hit play and watch it again, and I'm going to walk you through more of the slides. So if that makes sense, we are ready to begin, and here we go. So happy Monday. Yes, it is only Monday, and is it Halloween yet? Unfortunately, it isn't. Halloween is Wednesday, so you gotta wait a few days to get that wonderful candy of yours. Today, you're going to need Chromebooks, your headphones, your reading folder, writing workbook, a nonfiction book, pencil, and from the back table, you're getting Vampires Prey on Panama and a nonfiction reading log. For Mapping Your Future Monday, we are going to be trying this new thing today. You are going to go to the Google Classroom and fill out the assignment, Mapping Your Future Monday. So let me walk you through what that's going to look like. You're going to go to the Google Classroom and you are going to click on this link, Mapping Your Future Monday. It is going to open a copy that Google Classroom has created for you. From here on out, we're going to continue to come back to this Mapping Your Future Monday, and you will be turning in these copies to me as the weeks go on. Ms. Patterson included an example here. I think that being a respiratory therapist might be something that I would like to do. I love the idea of helping people. That's one of the reasons I chose to be a teacher. A respiratory therapist would be a fun job if I wanted to eventually work in a hospital. Here, you're going to double click and you are going to write your own response. So go ahead and do that. When you are done, go to the Google Classroom and you will be able to turn in the assignment here. This will be a grade. It must be completed today. All right, so now is your chance. You are going to watch this video. So at this point, pause me and watch the video. Okay, so you have finished watching the video at this point, so let's continue going on with our video. So today we're going to be learning how we will analyze an author's word choice, and you will determine how word choice affects his purpose and message. The author is a he in the story, so his or her purpose for other pieces. I really want you to focus on why is the author saying what they're saying, and really try to question the truth of what they're stating. So today I want to show you how to analyze an author's word choice and determine how word choice affects his purpose and message. But first, let's watch this cool video about some animals that are absolutely spooktastic. This video is about 10 minutes long, so at this point, you can go ahead and pause me and watch the video. So wasn't that video really cool? You were able to see how not all bats are bad. There's a lot of different types, and even vampire bats, though they are coming across as these really bad animals, there's actually a lot of good things that we can discover from them. So with that, I want us to lead us into our discussion for today. So extreme language makes exaggerated, overblown, and probably untrue claims. It admits of no exceptions, and it seems to allow doubt or questions. So clues that extreme language are happening is you're going to see a lot of every, all, always, indisputable, unarguably, never, none. So really extreme things. There's going to be a lot of comparative forms like smartest, perfectly, entirely. So this should always raise a question in your mind about what the author is stating there. So when you spot this language, you will be alerted either to the strength of the author's feelings or to the possibility that the writer is exaggerating and may even be deceiving or misleading you as the reader. So whenever you see these extreme languages, you really want to start to question, why is the author doing that? Why is the author doing that? And really get that going in your head so you can ask yourself, when you're reading and you notice the author uses language that leaves no doubt, exaggerates, or pushes to the limit, you have to ask yourself, why did the author say it like that? So that anchor question needs to be in your mind. Why did the author say it like that? There is an anchor chart in the back of the room that says extreme or absolute language. If you have any questions after this is done, just take a walk back there to the back of the room and it's over by the bookcase. So let me show you what I mean. At this point, you're going to watch this video and I will see you back here in about 2 minutes. So welcome back. I hope that cleared a little bit more of extreme or absolute language for you. In this case, today we're really just talking about extreme, and we'll talk more about absolute language here in the future. But today we're really just focusing on extreme language. So let's take a look at some examples. All the teachers and administrators in the school dress very casually. So what in that sentence is the extreme language? I'm going to let you have a second to think about it. Yeah, exactly right. So all the teachers, really, are all the teachers dressing really very casually, or is it just some and this person is using extreme language to really prove their point? Let's look at example number 2. That was the funniest movie ever. Okay, so let me give you a second to think about it. Was that really the funniest movie this person has ever seen, or was it just a really funny movie? Let's look at number 3 now. I can't wait for lunch. I'm starving. Give about 5 seconds to figure out what the extreme language was there. Yeah, I'm starving. This person isn't really starving, but that's just something that we as in the United States say a lot of. I'm starving, I'm starving. So it's just a way to say that we are so hungry, but we're not really starving. Let's look at question number 4. That is the worst idea I ever heard. So was that really the worst idea, or was it just a bad idea? So when you see things like this in a story, you really need to start to ask yourself, okay, is that true, or are they just using extreme language? And if they are using extreme language, why did the author say it like that? So now let's take a look at what extreme language looks like in a text. Here are the first 2 sentences of an article by a man named Dar Jamal about climate change. No one on this planet will be untouched by climate change, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change announced. The report warned that climate impacts are already severe, pervasive, and irreversible. So I'm going to give you a few seconds. What did you notice as extreme language? Exactly. So no one on this planet will be untouched by climate change. No one? So not even the rich are going to be able to be untouched, or is it only going to be the poor that are affected by climate change? Those are really these questions I want you to start turning in your mind. Another thing that I want us to look at is that climate impacts are already severe, pervasive, and irreversible. So are they really severe, pervasive, and irreversible? Well, in some instances they are. But in some instances, if we change now, they're not necessarily irreversible. So I want you to question, why is the author saying these things? Okay? So now we're going to look at our mentor text for today, Vampires Prey on Panama by Chris Kroll, Tribune Newspapers in the Los Angeles Times. So I want you to follow along with me with your paper that you have with the highlighter, and I want you to use this as an example. So Tennessee, Panama. Cattleman Francisco Olivia was on a roundup of vampire bats. after a swarm of the blood-slurping creatures dive-bombed his herd and drank their fill one recent night. He corralled several dozen of them in special contraptions that looked like giant badminton nets. He put each bat in a cage and then applied a poison called vampirin to their backs with a brush before releasing them. Back in the bat roost, the animals would be groomed by 20 other bats, causing their deaths, or so Olivia hoped. So what are some extreme language you see used in here? Some extreme language is what I want you to be looking for. So what I see is blood-slurping creatures dive-bombed. When I hear this word dive-bombed, I think of fighter airline pilots, planes dive-bombing from the sky. And so it's really this picture of extreme language that the author is painting for me to really get a picture of what these creatures are doing to their cattle. Also, blood-slurping creatures. This makes them seem really awful. Blood slurping. And so it just allows the reader to get a bigger picture of what's going on. So as we come down here, we see animals would be groomed by about 20 other bats, causing their death, or so Olivia hoped. And so I think that really speaks a lot of volumes right there of extreme language, or so Olivia hoped. Why does he want these bats to die so bad? What is going on here? So let's go to this next slide. We have to look for answers because this little animal is very stubborn, Olivia said days after the capture, surveying his 300-head herd, most of them bearing bat fang markings and red stains from the nightly bloodletting. Olivia said he would exterminate every bat if he could. Stefan Close begged to differ. He not only stuck up for the common vampire bat, but described the animals as boons to humanity. Bat-based research led to the development of sonar and anticoagulant medicines that prevent heart attacks, he pointed out, and scientists are only beginning to understand the creatures. I certainly defend vampire bats' right to a place in the ecosystem, said Close, a young German zoologist. People's irrational reaction to vampires, he said, reflects our primal fear of being someone else's food object. So some of the really extreme language I'm seeing in here is nightly bloodletting. Like all I can picture is the poor cows and blood just oozing out. But that's not really the case when bats take a bite. He also says Olivia said he would exterminate every bat if he could. Well, that seems very extreme to want to kill every single bat. Down here, Stefan Close begged to differ. So he says that he describes these animals as boons to humanity. So he's saying that these animals are integral to humanity. They're very important to humanity. So why is he saying that they're extremely important? And that's really extreme language when you're saying over here, Olivia thinks these bats are not very useful to society. When we come down here, we see some more extreme language when we see that our primal fear of being someone else's food object. Why is that extreme language being used there? And then here, people's irrational reaction to vampires. Well, are these people's reactions really irrational, or is it okay that they are scared? So those are all some things I want you to think about when you are looking at this article. So I want you to now continue to read this passage, Vampires Prey on Panama, and highlight details that could be considered extreme language. You may work with your shoulder partner, so set your timer. You only have 10 minutes to finish this. You must find 3 additional examples of extreme language. You must write them on the Google Classroom. They are on the stream in Google Classroom on the assignment titled 3 Additional Uses of Extreme Language in Vampires Prey on Panama. Put Vampires Prey on Panama in your reading folder when you're done and go to the next slide for what to do next. Just a quick snippet, the Vampires Prey on Panama is right here. So this is a grade as well today. It has to be completed today. Last but not least, once you are done with that, you're going to come back and these are your must-dos. Reading log for nonfiction. weekend news in your writing workbook, and Education Galaxy. You have a great